In 6 days, elementary and high school students will start a new school year at home. It is another year of distance learning, but the Education Department is asking President Duterte if it can pilot face-to-face classes in 120 schools. When will this happen and how? Let's find out from Education Undersecretary Nepomuceno, Malaluan. Yusek, maraming salamat po for joining us. A lot of kids are very excited about these pilot face-to-face classes. Yusek, will it be on all levels of grade school and high school?
No, in the 120 schools, it will only prioritize the first key stage from kindergarten to grade 3 as advised by our medical experts.
But Yusek, why kinder to grade 3? Why pilot face-to-face unvaccinated children who are susceptible to the Delta variant?
First, this is going to happen only in areas of minimal risk, and this age group is actually the age group that the medical experts have found, based on the data, to be the most resilient so far from COVID transmission.
Do these medical experts know what they're saying? Because the president said that no one would go to school if there was no vaccine yet. Why choose to send the children with no vaccine and with no vaccine currently approved anywhere in the world for this age group?
Well, as I mentioned, the Department of Health and the Department of Education has developed with the medical experts a very comprehensive guidelines that includes all of the safety precautions for the schools. As I mentioned, first of that is that this can only be happening in areas known to be of minimal risk category. That's the lowest risk category of any place. And
have you already identified
the readiness of the schools?
Have you already identified these 100 public schools and 20 private schools, Yusek?
The 20 private schools, not yet, but with respect to the public schools, we have a 638 schools that is constantly being monitored, from which the 100 is going to be taken at any time that the president allows for the pilot face-to-face to happen.
And the 20 private schools, would you know where they will be taken from? Because there are a lot of schools, private schools that I know, Yusek, that are volunteering themselves because they have the best practices, they have the system and the infrastructure for hybrid learning.
Yes, precisely. That will be a process of a volunteer application, and they will be evaluated also using the standards that we have done for the public schools.
When do you think, Yusek, this will happen? When will the pilot face-to-face classes begin?
The Secretary has requested for an audience with the President for the presentation of this pilot face-to-face guidelines. This has been presented, jointly developed by DOH and DepEd with medical experts, and it has been presented to the IATF. If the President approves, then we're ready at the opening of classes to proceed with the 100 schools.
Because it is very disappointing for a lot of parents, Yusek, Malaluan, that we are only one of 5 countries in the world. It's been 1.5 years. A lot of kids are facing a lot of mental distress that we have not yet, that many of them have not gone to school. Face-to-face.
Yes, precisely, Rico. This is the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, but 190 other countries, Yusek, have already gone back to school in one shape or another, face-to-face, over the past year and a half. We're just one of 5 countries in the world that has not gotten back to school.
You have to nuance that data, Rico, because that does not mean it's a full and continuous return to school. It is sometimes intermittent. There are also lockdowns in the process, and it is a matter of the assessment of both the public health and the learning process. It is a combination of those considerations, and we are being careful, very careful with this. And of course, we have to also listen to the prescription of the Department of Health and our medical experts, and ultimately the President has taken
isn't the Department of Education too cautious? Because even Senator Pia Cayetano said, your rollout is very slow and pathetic. Does the Department of Education really have a concrete plan?
We have a concrete plan, but it is not solely dependent on the decision of the Office of the Department of Education. If you would recall, Rico, you're talking about members of Congress talking about the Department of Education, but last year, it was itself that put out a law that gave the decision on the opening of classes in time of this pandemic to the president. And so it is not completely in the hands of the Department of Education.
Why not pilot, at least putting your pilot face-to-face high school students? Because now, those 12 to 17 years old, the FDA has given the go signal for this age group to be vaccinated with Pfizer and Moderna. Aren't they the best age group to have face-to-face because they are responsible, they will do social distancing, they will be vaccinated, and a lot of them need to go to school, Yusek.
I think, Rico, on that question, precisely that's why it's a combination of the health and education. You have to ask our partner agencies in the public health sector. There is a small number that have been allowed by our medical experts for the senior high school with respect to those in the technical vocational for their workshop requirements. So there will be a component, but it is a small component compared to the main, which is in the first key stage from kindergarten to grade 3.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word, Education Undersecretary Nepomuceno, Malaluan.